And now, as stated in the update video, time for the trio of deck lists that might see themselves get picked for the first local in roughly a week and a half's time. So, the first one is a bit of an old one. I haven't done a list on this for quite a while. It's Blackwings. And just before anybody starts to be all like, just know that I don't personally believe that Blackwings are going to be that big. I mean, I like the deck. That's why I play the deck. That's why I've played the deck. That's why I've had a build for freaking last few years. I've never actually taken this Blackwing build down, except for that one, maybe 2-week period where I turned it into a Crow character deck, but that was about it. So, I've been sort of tweaking it. Haven't really done much with it. Which leads me to actually point out that none of the 3 decks have actually gone through any testing. This is just sort of preliminary builds for all 3 of these decks, and subject, of course, to testing. So they probably will end up changing. The only one that you're likely to see, though, is the one that I do take with me to locals once I've done the local report and be like, okay, here's the deck. That being said, though, just positives out of all 3 of the decks. Of course, Blackwings have had their boost. I think that they do look pretty damn nice at the moment, but they're not, obviously, as stated near the top of the video, they're not they're not going to be that great yet. So at least not until the new support comes out, because I did find that there is some new support coming out in Premium Pack 17 over in the OCG. So hopefully, in the next set or 2 after that, TCG wise, we'll get them. Because they're pretty good additions to the deck. So, enough lollygagging, let's get on with the list. Triple Shura, this guy gets you your quick synchro plays. You just beat the shit out of something, you get a monster, preferably a tuner, and then you synchro. That's literally all he's there for. And 1800 body, just on its own, is really, really nice. 1 Kalut pushes him well beyond 3000. So, this is actually a really good way to get it out of Leo. So, it gets over just about anything that there is in the current game, because it's just 1 Kalut, and that does the trick. We then have Bora, Resident Piercer of the deck. It's always nice to pump this thing full of attack points when you use this, and what do you call him, Sirocco. But again, he's pretty much just there to help the swarm aspect of the deck. He just special summons himself when there's another Blackwing on the board. Him plus Ashura can either make just a whole bunch of damage, but can also make Xyz if that is deemed to be a necessary thing. It's not usually the way to go very often, which is why I don't run too many Xyz in the deck, but they are there just for the purpose of, okay, I've got the option there. Then we have the 3 Kalut, honest to the deck, does so much silly shit. And at the same time, though, I remember one game where I was playing against this deck. They dropped. They had like 3 Kalut in hand, and I still beat them. Like, they dropped all 3 Kalut onto their 1 monster, but I still beat them, which is absolutely hilarious. But aside from that, you know, Kalut's Kalut. You don't really have to say too much about it. He just provides big boosts. And then Gale the Whirlwind at 3. I mean, this probably should have happened in the previous list, but better late than never. This is what got people really, really hyped up for the deck. Yeah, it's nice to have 3 copies of it now, but it's not really going to be too much difference from when the thing was at 2, because it's just it is just an extra 1. I mean, the likelihood is that you're only going to see 2 of them, although with Black Whirlwind you have the option to have 3 of them, but its effect is not really quite as relevant to winning games at the moment, and against Cliffort, it's not going to do anything because most of the monsters just out-level it. Then 2 Blizzard. I've always wondered why 3 was, like, people never play 3. I even wonder why I don't play 3. Because it's kind of horrible to open up with if you don't have something to get into the grave quickly. So, I've always sort of blamed it on the fact that I didn't have a third rare copy, but I think though in theory 2 is still fine enough. I mean, you've got Black Whirlwind to search it. 1 Sirocco. I well remember the days when 3 Sirocco was big, but now it's down to 1 because it can be horridly cloggy, and you don't really want to tribute summon this thing. That's the big issue with it. It's just really not at all a good thing to have. It's nice to have it's nice to have opening up, going second, since you can just drop him. You can always bait out, bottomless with this thing. So it's definitely nice to have at least 1 copy of in the deck. Zephyros, this thing is about as staple as just about anything else in the deck. He does a lot of awesome combos and can actually give you food for Direwolf. I really like Direwolf in this deck because you don't just have to pop itself. You can pop something else. And then Steam, which kind of sucks if you ask me. I'm not too sure about this card. I've decided to give it a bit of a tech because I've noticed a couple of other deck lists have been running it. Apparently this can help you go into Leo, which is nice to have. I mean, Leo's always nice to have if you're able to make it in a deck, so I figured, okay, I might as well have a gander at it. I mean, it is a pretty weak monster, so it's a nice thing to get out with Shura, then make an Armor Master, and then you've got the extra token as well. So, I suppose it's not all bad. No Dark Arm Dragon because I don't have anywhere near as much banishing stuff. I've decided to not run Vayu anymore, just because it's kind of difficult to get it into the grave outside of the whole just getting it with Shura and then synchroing. And even then, I would only really use it to synchro Vortex the Whirlwind, and Vortex the Whirlwind is not that great because it has to die to get by battle to get its effect, and it's really, really easy to get over in another means, especially going up against the other bigger decks in the meta. So decided not to do that, so I don't have anywhere near as much banishing power, thus no Dark Armed. So onward to the spells. Triple Black Whirlwind, staple. All the search power you could want. 2 Dark Eruption. This is nice just to get back Kalutes and Gales and something else. Not Steam, but it'd be terrible. Yeah, it gets Gale, Blizzard, and Kalute back, so it's really, really nice to have. This is literally just the same as top decking one of those cards, especially Blizzard. This is one of the other big reasons why only 2 Blizzards is necessary, because Dark Eruption just helps you recycle them. Then 1 Cards of Black Feathers and 1 Allure of Darkness for draw power. I could use Duality, but I'm still kind of iffy on Duality, so I wanted to just have a whole bunch of draw cards for additional consistency. Plus, with the whole Black Whirlwind thing, getting enough searches off of that will thin the deck enough to where you'll be able to fancy your chances at top decking the card that you need. So onward we go to the standard staple spells. Book of Moon, Snatch Steal. I would probably rather play Mind Control, but I wanted to at least give Snatch Steal a bit of a test out, so that's why it's in there. If it's not that great, I will probably cut it for either Mind Control or maybe a second cast for Black Feathers, but whatever. Yeah. And then Raigeki, own personal off button for vanities. Then for traps, max down on Icarus attack. This may seem a bit cloggy if you don't have the monsters, but you gotta get rid of back row. That's one of the most important things in this current format. Is you have to be able to get rid of back row. You have to be able to turn off shit like vanities, skill drain, fire lake, just about everything you can possibly imagine. So being able to send that Icarus attack as often as you possibly can, it's pretty much paramount. 2 Phoenix Chain just because I needed some kind of effect negation. I could go with Breakthrough skill, but it seems that Phoenix Chain is becoming a bit more bit more commonplace. Breakthrough skill still has its uses, don't get me wrong, but the big thing with that breakthrough is that it was able to stop artifacts, and artifacts are now no longer a thing, which depresses me. But I think the most important thing with the Fiendish Chain is if I do get screwed over, if I'm like pushed, if I'm like under maxi pressure or something like that, I can just go for the Blizzard, set the Fiendish Chain, and then basically prevent the opponent from attacking. And so then I can just move on and do the combo next turn. 2D Prison, about as standard as you can get. 1 Black Sonic, I initially had 2, but I decided, nah, I didn't really want 2 because, once again, it has a conditional requirement, and so I wanted to just keep it at 1, so that if I did have it, and I had the appropriate conditions, I'd just be able to use it, and this, like, timed well, this will win you a game. So, it's perfectly fine. Same thing with Delta Crow as well. This well timed will give you a win, pretty much win you a game as well. Like, it's really nice to have going first against some of the big decks. Then we have the main deck Soul Drain, because you can do that in this deck. It's not that bad. I think it only screws over Steam's token summoning, which doesn't even matter because they freaking nerfed the token. Because just in case it hasn't been made obvious, they actually did nerf the token that you get from Steam, because I remember, like, whenever it killed a monster in battle, it would banish it. So that would have been nice to have, but unfortunately they decided no, you can't have it. And then these 3 guys, about as standard as you can get, trap-wise. So, onwards we go to the extra deck. This has been a bit rambly, apologies, but I haven't done one of these videos for quite a while, so kind of just getting back into the groove of things. Leo, because apparently you can make this with Steam. I'll have to do some testing to see how often I get this thing out, but if I have the opportunity to make it, then that'd be great. Same thing with Mistworm. Mistworm is not a particularly common occurrence in Blackwings, but it is still nice to have if you're able to, if you've got the Blizzard and the Boran hand, you just get the Collude out, then you've got this, and it just clears boards, and it's really, really nice to have. It actually makes me consider running a Trap Stun or 2 in the deck, just so I can Trap Stun and then send everything back, and they can't do anything about it. Then have the BLs, obvious if you're running a Dark deck. 1 Stardust Dragon, because Stardust Spark is still not legal here yet. And then Thought Ruler, just to get round Wing Blast and I think Karma Card. I think Karma Card targets. I'm not too sure about that. If it doesn't, then just let me know. But definitely gets around Wing Blast. I wish it would get around Fire Lake, but it targets other stuff as well as this, so it doesn't actually, so it can't negate. But it gets around a handful of nuisance sort of bits and pieces. Then the Crimson Blader, because it fucks over Clifford. I can't believe. Why do I keep saying Clifford? But whatever. Level 7's 1 Armor Master, cut it down from 2 to 1, just so I could fit other bits and pieces in here. And the only other 7 I play is Black Rose. I could easily just pop a Yazi in here, because Yazi is always nice to have. But I just don't have the room at the moment. For 6s, 2 Armed Wing, because just piercing damage is really, really nice to have. Like, even against stuff like Shadows, they'll always put their stuff in defense mode, and even if they do have a dragon, if you've got a backup play that you can make in case you lose your Armed Wing, you can ram this thing into a dragon, hit them for 28, and even if you do lose this, you've got that backup play, so it's always nice to have. But the matter of great importance is the fact that you are ripping 2,800 life points out of them. It's really nice. Then have the 1 Orient Dragon. This should be a Goyo, but I don't have it, so I'm just like, screw it, put Orient Dragon in there. I might actually put Iron Chain Dragon in here, because of the simple fact that, like, again, like, if you can get it over a monster, if you can get it to deal some kind of damage, you can make the opponent mill and actually turn off Vanities, assuming you can get it on before Vanities is out. Or you can, like, just Trap Stun, so it's definitely warranting the use of Trap Stun in this deck. I'm level 5 as Armades now. I did have Vortex the Whirlwind, but as stated earlier, it's not really as effective anywhere near as much anymore, because it's not so much the fact that they'll just beat stick over you. It's the fact that they're more likely to get over you using some kind of card effect or just send it back. Basically, just do whatever they can to not trigger the effect. Then 3 Xyz in the form of Direwolf, which is actually useful. It's the reason why I don't run Scrap Dragon, actually, because I've just got this. This works just about as well. Master Key Beetle, just as a beat stick. It can also hold stuff out and whatnot. And Zero Fine. Zero Fine is just so freaking awesome in this deck, especially on an established board. I think the negation, yeah, is applied until the next standby phase, which is kind of a shame, really. If it only lasted until the end phase, you could use this to like turn a Vanity's board off, and then it goes back on when the opponent's turn comes around. But can't have everything all our way. Can't wait. And then just a experimental side. I don't know if this is actually that great or not, but whatever. I'll show it off just to be complete. 2DD Crow just to remove shit. 1 Arrow for the Cliffort matchup. 3 MST because I could not find room in the main deck for them. It's fine because Icarus Attack works just as well for popping shit. 1 E-Rad, just to get round really annoying spell stuff. Like, my locals, I do still see the occasional spellbook player, so this is necessary for that particular setup. 2 Skill Drain, which sounds about weird, but if you've got beat sticks, then it's pretty much fine. And it just screws, it doesn't screw this deck over anywhere near as much as it can for other decks, because the thing is, like, most of, like, it prevents piercing from going off, it prevents Sure from doing stuff, but if you've got, like, beat sticks, then you should be able to navigate this perfectly fine. I mean, the only matchup in which it's going to be terrible is Clifford, but why would I want to play Sided against Clifford anyway? So that's pretty much my idea about it. 2 Light Mirror, just to get around Satellas, Light Swans, blah 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 blah. 2 Goes in Match for other rogue decks that might show up at locals. Something like a mixture. Sort of, someone might be stupid enough and try playing Hadian, or maybe like a variant on it. Somebody might like just show up at locals with, oh hey, I got +1 fists. That'll help. Then Double Mind Crush, because I was pretty much running low on side deck cards, and I figured, okay, I might as well put the Mind Crush in there. Mind Crush is a generally good sort of card to have in the hand, because it just, like, you can search and then you lose your shit. It's especially good against the mirror match, because as soon as they add the go, you just get rid of it. So that is it for that particular deck list. The next one is something. I don't know. But yeah, I've got the other 2 sorted out, obviously, but I will probably just do a coin toss to decide that one. So, yes, see you for whatever that next list will be.